All right, Bella, here goes nothing. It's Mr. Lloyd, and I'm going to try and use this mirroring tool in my iPad to try and teach you how to, let's see, we're going to convert something into standard form. So keep in mind that standard form, oh, it's working, good. The standard form of any equation that's linear is going to be ax plus by equals c. And a couple things you need to know, this a, b, and c, all of those things should be integers. Now, your textbook says they can be real numbers, but that's pretty abnormal. I'm not really sure I've seen that before, so though I'm not going to contradict it, I'm going to say that that's not as normal as you would expect. The other piece that has to be in place, A has to be positive. And that's going to be key because when you think about A, think of the thing that goes with the x, of course. So when you see a coefficient in front of the x and it's positive, excuse me, we're going to be happy with that. And we're going to try to move forward with whatever piece that is. And then the final piece is that A and B cannot both be 0 at the same time. One of them is allowed to be 0 or the other one's allowed to be 0, but they can't both be 0 at the same time. But I'm not really sure we're going to need to worry about that. So more to your question, here's what I think you want to know. How do we take something and turn it into standard form? So let's switch colors here. Go a little darker for the video's sake. And let's try this. Let's imagine you have an equation like this one, which is a super standard slope-intercept equation. So knowing that we have a slope-intercept equation and knowing that it doesn't look like standard form, here's what I want you to observe. In standard form, the x and the y terms are on the same side. And here we have the y and the x terms opposite sides of the equal sign, so we need to fix that. So what I'm going to suggest is this. We're going to go ahead and take the x term, and we're either going to keep it or we're going to move it. All right? Now, what I remember about this is that the a that's in front of your x term has to be positive, and this guy is positive. So I plan on keeping this right where it is. If I move it, it's going to turn negative. What that means is that I need to move the other stuff. I need to move the plus 3, and I need to move the y. So let me go ahead and erase a couple things. Let's clean this up. I'm going to keep my 2x. I'm going to move the y, and I'm going to move the plus 3. So to do that, I'm going to do it in 2 separate steps. You could do it in one. You're super smart. You can figure this out. So watch. I'm going to do minus 3 to both sides. I'm going to get rid of the word keep because it's getting in the way. And I'm going to get y minus 3 equals 2x. And then I'm going to move the y term by doing minus y. And watch what I have. I get negative 3 is 2x minus y. And honestly, I'm done. That's standard form. That's all there is to it. Now, you might decide that you want to put this piece on the left and write it as 2x minus y and put the equal sign and the minus 3 on the right. That's okay. So it looks a little bit more like you'd expect. But there we have standard form. A would equal 2. B would equal negative 1. That's the thing that's in front of the y. And c would equal negative 3. And that's it. So in any other form that we have, let's do one more. Let's do y minus 3 equals, something like 2/3 x minus 9. Here we have point slope. Let's make this plus just for some variety. I still want to go ahead and, ultimately get it into this format that we have it in down here. I want to get the x and the y's on the same side. I want to try to get everything to be integers, and I want to make sure my a value stays positive. So I'm not going to do anything really crazy here. I'm going to go ahead and distribute. Equals, let's make this up. I'm going to get 2/3 x plus 18/3 is 6. So let's see, I'm going to, here's what I observe. Same deal as before. I observe the thing that's in front of my x as positive. The 2/3 is positive. Now, because I want to give you a different example, I'm going to go and modify this. Watch. You're watching the video, so you can follow this. I'm going to make the 2/3 of my original example negative. I'm just changing the problem. What that's going to do is it's going to change this, and it's going to change this, and it's going to give me an example of something different, right? So now what I would observe is this thing in front of the x is negative, and I need to move that, all right? If I find that, that's good for me because I need to move that thing. That gives me a direction. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to move the negative 2/3 by doing plus 2/3 x to both sides. And watch what we get. All right, I'm going to get 2/3 x. I'm going to write it first just because it normally comes first in our equation. I have the y, I have the -3, and I have this -6 on the right-hand side that hasn't moved. Now what I observe is my x and y are on the same side, but I still have this pesky -3 here. So I need to get rid of the -3. So I'll just do +3. And now I have something that looks like standard form. According to the textbook, it's all real numbers, so we think it's probably okay, but according to my own kind of criteria where I want everything to be integers, all I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply, watch, I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to multiply by a common denominator and clear up my fractions. And then what you're going to find is I'm going to actually have everything be integers. So I see my denominator was 3, so I'm multiplying both sides by 3. And I get 2x plus 3y is -9. Now this has turned into a pretty long video, so I'm going to stop here. To finish it off, A is 2, B would be 3, and C would be -9, and I have myself standard form. So only 2 examples, but that would be how I would try and teach standard form using a video and, heck, use an email. So I hope this helps. Let me know if you need something else.